Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. We have returned from the moon, well sort of from the moon, around the moon and back. And this episode we are going to be keeping on pushing forward with our flight technology so that we can get more science, so that we can get bigger rockets and more explosions. So let's go into the Research and Development Center. We don't really have enough to really buy anything at the moment, but you can see we are essentially in tier 5, so that's pretty good. We have some additional science modules as well, and that's something that I want to look into doing here shortly. So first things first, mission control. We do have a TD-25 decoupler into orbit mission. That's just kind of to give us some money. Let's see, what other little missions do we possibly have here? So, orbit around Kerbin, suborbital spaceflight on Kerbin. Yeah, we can do that. So, we're gonna go ahead and try to just quickly do a tourism kind of PR stunt on today's episode. So we're gonna go ahead and try and haul just 2 guests up into space and around so they can kind of experience the whole thing with us here. Now, I do want to just check to see if there's a height indicator. Don't just orbit and suborbit. So if we complete the orbit, we will also complete the suborbital flight as well at the same time. Okay, so let's go into the vehicle assembly building here and take a gander at it. So the MK1 moon orbiter is what we took into orbit previously. And as you can see, the 4 engines at the bottom definitely worked well for us. And this episode, we're not really going to be gathering science because we kind of have it all already. This episode, we're just going to have a commander. We are going to possibly look for... Do I have some extra seating? Yes, an MK1 crew cabin. Okay, so these guys, we're all gonna come down kind of together here. Or what I could do is attach a space plane on top of a rocket. That could be an option with this one, so that we can simply glide back down. So we're gonna go ahead and just take an MK1 cockpit. We're gonna add the small kind of cabin crew here so people can be comfy. And we are going to strap this almost like the space shuttle just to the side of, say, this rocket here. And we're gonna fly this rocket into orbit and then hopefully deorbit and come back down for a nice gentle landing. That way we don't have to worry about parachutes. We don't have to worry about the extreme G-forces people might face when they kind of do this stuff. So that may be good. Now, I am a little afraid of the re-entry heating effects on this one, but I suppose we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see. So we're gonna add some fuel here, and then what's the difference? Small container. Oh, okay. So this is what we'll do. We'll do something, just a structural fuselage here, just to keep the weight down, and just to increase the length of the vehicle. We will grab some wings, because we haven't done anything with wings yet in the game. So this is kind of the first one here. We'll get a tail connector on this. Actually, let's, we'll snub it. We'll make it a little bit shorter. We don't need to use the full length, I don't think. In fact, we could, in theory, just do this. I think that's fine. All right, do we have a proper large wing? Structural wing type. Kind of. But kind of not. This is not really big enough. We have swept wings here, and really this is probably what we're gonna have to use. So we're gonna turn on mirror mode. It's definitely a little weird, by the way, to build planes with it being vertical like this. So I'm gonna, oh boy, that's weird. Let's turn off mirror mode real quick. Ooh. No, move tool, you're not doing this quite right. And I think this has to do with the actual being built vertically here. So we'll have to kind of hand place these. So we'll try and get this basically as close as possible to the center line right up to there. And then we will use the move tool. And I'm going to make this a low wing design. I believe high wings are usually more stable, but I want the low wing, simply because to me they look cooler, but also they are gonna stay a little bit more streamlined into the rocket itself. So that could be a bonus. All right, we'll go ahead and grab a tail fin. Just like that. And then little delta winglets here to kind of complete the tail shape. That's okay. Tell you what, I'm gonna, oh, don't do that. Why did I do that? That's not what I wanted. Hold on, undo. Undo. There we go. Turn off mirror mode. Just that mirror mode. Okay, so we're gonna actually bump this back pretty much right beneath the windows. And that way we can hopefully, oh boy, this is gonna be tough to do, I think. Let's bump this up one. Bump this up one. And now we can grab our fuel. And we don't need really much fuel at all for this little trick that we're doing here. So let's do that. That. Come on, click. There we go. Now move this up. Because really what I'm hoping with this, to have 2 small engines on this and carry a light amount of fuel on here as well. So there we go. We got those. Let's get some air intake. Which is where? Engines, fuel. That's a tank adapter. Air intake. If I don't have air intake, that would be a little awkward. There it is. Okay, so we have air intake now. We will go ahead and grab the the decoupler component here. Attach it centrally. And we will attach the rocket on there. Though we might have to attach the rocket a little bit different than say it is now. Essentially, this is what's gonna go into space, and we need this extra little booster here to kind of deorbit us, and then we can go get down on the rest of our normal power here. The main issue being with what landing gear, right? Because when we separate these stages, we really want to make sure that our landing gear don't really hurt the spacecraft. Here. Okay, a nice wide stance. Hopefully that can come down for a good landing. Everything is a little off kilter though. Let me just reassign that. This ain't quite right. Oh, nope, nope. Let me just grab this. That just seems a little high of a point. There we go. So hopefully we can land this. I'm gonna add a little bit of a tail wheel here, not because it's super necessary, but I am worried about doing a tail strike back here, so we will give us a little bit of an option, and steering disabled on it. Okay, so with that is kind of our space plane. We are making a space plane today. Who would have thought that's how this mission's gonna go? We're gonna have Jebediah being the pilot. We have a couple tourists coming with us here as well. And then, of course, our mighty rocket over here on this side, which is definitely an interesting design. I'm a little worried about weight distribution, but hopefully with the wings, we will have flight control. And we might want to get a couple boosters as well. I'm a little worried about overall weight here. How's our specs? Well, only 20 tons. That's not too bad. But we'll just go ahead, attach some solid rocket boosters here. Definitely get them low set so that when they separate, hopefully they don't interfere at all with the wheels and clip, because that would be very bad. Nothing's really clipping through. Do I have struts yet? I do. So here at the beginning stages, what I'll do is attach struts let's do that and actually take it off, because man, mirror mode in the space in here is just not very nice. There to there. Okay, so we got some struts. It should be pretty solid of a flight. I am pretty excited about it. So we're going to be launching the two solid rocket boosters. We will separate them and then switch to the 4 engines, separate that, deorbiter, and then once we are basically deorbiting, we will try and land. Now, whether or not I might be able to bring it all the way back to the landing strip, I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting one, and hopefully you guys are excited to see this thing crash and burn, because I know I am. So center of weight, that's fine. Center aerodynamic and center of mass. Oh boy, this is gonna be a weird flight. Definitely a weird flight. We're gonna need at least one of these. So let's bring it down. You can kind of cheat by making this really tall, right? So the tower, so they kind of get up there, but I don't want to do that. So let's do space plane exploration. And we'll go ahead and save that. All right, let's go ahead and launch. We're gonna test this out. This could be a simulation. This could be the real flight. I don't know. But hopefully it goes well for our tourists. All right, so we are basically ready here. We have the SAS module online. I'm gonna thrust up in case I need to here. And off we go. Oh boy. Oh boy, no control. Effective. Okay, so we're gonna revert flight to launch real quick. And what we're really gonna need then, if I have so little control over this, is we're gonna have to use these 4 engines at the same time. There's no way around it. They do provide some vectoring for us, so hopefully that will be enough. Ooh. Oh. Oh boy, this does not fly well. This does not fly well at all. Oh my god, it is a rocket plane. And we are crashing. Alright, hold on. Vert to vehicle assembly. So I was worried about that. I mean, we have a lot of kind of off-kilter weight, so it really wants to pitch up. That's kind of normal for these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the wings. I'm just going to rotate them just a hair. And this should, I say should as if I know what I'm really doing, and I don't. This should, in theory, create a bit of counteracting force and should help keep the plane a little bit more level in the air. Hopefully. Other than that, probably the best thing I can do is go ahead and set the staging up beforehand. That would be a good idea. I need some control surfaces, I think, on the wings as well. There we go. And you know what, we'll go ahead and add another set. Not because it's necessarily needed to have that much, but more control, I think, the better. In this case, I will also kind of detach the neck real quick. And just for that extra torque. Let's see, I think I have one. A small inline reaction control wheel might be needed. So we'll grab that. Select this whole thing and just move it up. There we go. So now we have a reaction control wheel, so that might assist as well. So test number 2 now of space plane exploration on this episode, where rocketry meets bad ideas. All right, so we're gonna do quarter throttle, SAS online. We don't have our 2 people. I guess I didn't set them up, but that's fine. Can I at least rotate it? Kind of like, nope. Nope. Woo! Jebediah, you are just having a good time today. Alright, revert flight. Vehicle assembly. I'm gonna have to lower this, I think. And I'm gonna have to mess with the weight. I think we have enough thrust, to be honest. So what I'll do is I'm gonna offset the weight more this way. Kind of like that. And I am also going to, oh boy, I'm gonna, oh, nope, not what I wanted. I'm also going to grab this and just move it vertically here. I mean, that's really as vertical as I can take it, though. I would have really liked to get this a little bit more central to the mass here, but that's fine. All right, trying this test number 3 here today. Loading. But this is the fun stuff for me in Kerbal Space Program. You gotta have fun with it. Trying for the tailspin, and that ain't good. Okay, maybe the plane is a bit of a problem. I might need to enable these as flaps. Oh, okay. Too hard. Lost some wings, some landing gear there. So I only have 2 landing gear right now. It's a pond jumper. But in theory, I think I can land this. We came in really steep though, so this should be fine. And the tail wheel works. So we oh my god! Flip through the air. Nailed it! So if I can get away with just the boosters, that might just be all I have to use. Most likely not. We'll see. Okay, so the boosters at this percentage are not heavy enough. So revert to vehicle assembling. I just need to get it off the ground, so we'll go 60%. Nope. SpaceX. Nap brown. Okay. It looks dumb. Well, there's no need to explode on me. Now it's a dodo. I was really expecting for this episode to be able to, you know, make it into space real quick, just get some extra money, and then maybe potentially go back to the moon, but at this point it's basically a lost cause. So let's get up there. Let's take these people around. Simulations are over. This is the real deal. The launch is a nice vertical success. Big flame shooting out of those. Trying to get as much height as possible here. Looking pretty good. The passengers look pretty content with their voyage so far, only heading about 3 Gs in this portion. So we will dispose of them nice and neat like, and start pitching over. Here we go. Jebediah pretty happy about his performance so far. Pitching to 60 degrees. Let's just do 30. So we just kind of go for max speed. We basically have orbital height now, so we'll just go completely sideways. Try and get enough velocity this way now. And at this stage, we'll go ahead and detach. Start up the last final stage here. Contract parameter complete. So that is good. All right. So let's go ahead and speed up time. Get on up here out of the atmosphere, and then we'll just burn sideways completely and start going downwards at the same time. There we go. And that should basically circularize our orbit. And then we'll be considered in orbit. Turn on some lights for the passengers. Right? Go ahead, turn off this, and I can give it a slight spin. Oh no. Maybe I want to keep SAS on mine for a little bit more. And now that our trajectory is basically horizontal, we want to go straight with our trajectory. And look at that, just maybe a little bit down. Still gaining altitude here. Wow. That, you know, if this is what we would have done right off, there we go. Messages are good. Mission. Ooh. Mission looks good. So we got an orbit and suborbital. So let's go ahead and check light. Light is fine. So we will go ahead and speed up time. Just around the planet a little bit. Wouldn't mind coming in on the light side. So we will now point retrograde. Get our periaps, you know, just in the upper 50s, because that'll be enough. And off we go for a ride. So these guys are going to experience re-entry now. Hopefully enjoy it. Jebediah is going to try and maintain this pointing retrograde. I didn't install a heat shield on this vehicle, simply due to we can just use the engine really as the heat shield. Periaps is falling, just like we are falling back down to the planet here. Let's see, let's do screenshot time. There we go. My aerodynamic forces display has been enabled. I didn't know I could do that, but apparently the screenshot button in Steam does that for you. All right, so we are pretty good. So I can even kind of fire up the engine a little bit just for some extra slowdown. We probably won't reach the Space Center because that's dropping rather rapidly, but that's okay. They can kind of be picked up in really in anywhere that they want. And if you guys haven't been inside the crew module, this is kind of what it looks like. And this is the view they're being offered, you know, paying us thousands upon thousands of dollars for a view like this, where you can really see that Kerbin is flat, just like the rumors say. Look out the window on either side. You can watch it as it becomes a wee bit warm. Now at this point, we're going to use the rockets to slow us down a little bit better, so we can kind of get out of the really hot phase sooner. And that's pretty much it. Now we're going to be doing, I guess, a landing on the... Ooh, no! Not what I wanted. Don't overheat my parachute. Don't do that. Why is it doing this? Why did it decide this was... Why? What? We're back. We're back where we were. Look at that, guys. Nothing happened at all. I didn't ruin everything at the last second yet again. Nope, we didn't crash. We didn't lose anyone. Everyone's back. Everything's happy. Nothing went wrong. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. Hey, look, a desert. We've never seen a desert before in this game, I don't think, and really, I'm really happy to be able to see different biomes up close. Now, we're not as close as probably landing on the thing, but that would be risky, so we're gonna be shooting for the water, I think on this one here. As we just get lower and lower into the atmosphere. I want to take this as a gentle curve because, you know, you don't want to risk coming in too hot, not being able to slow down enough, and then just crashing to the ground. It's a common mistake by people who are new to the game, and really, you know, something that you want to try and avoid, I think. Let's just watch as our periapts continues to fall. In fact, I might need to slow down a little bit. I need to drop that down a bit there. Just so we can get captured into the atmosphere a little bit more. And you just want to skim it. Just skim it. Otherwise, you might risk kind of, you know, not being fully captured. My apoapse, as you can see, is beneath the space now. So, you know, this is 100% gonna fall back to Kerbin. And get some beautiful shots that you guys have never seen before. As you can see. And then we can call this mission finally complete as we start slowly cooking ourselves in the atmosphere. You know, as you do as a spacefaring race. You know, you can go ahead and just see the interior view of everyone. Let's just make sure they come up kind of right side up here. And you just, you know, as I said, want that nice, gentle slow down. Emergency exit into the back. The emergency exit, by the way, leads straight into the explosive fuel. I like that touch. I think it's a great thing. Wow, our tourists are getting quite a view. Quite a view. All right, 44,000. We're not going to be coming down on the light side, it seems. It seems like we're going to be coming down probably on the more dark side of the planet, but that's totally fine by me. Nothing wrong with that, really. Our speed is holding really steady here at 2346 meters a second. Still very fast, but we are in the uppermost layer of the atmosphere here. And really, I'm hoping to land in water and not risk running into a mountain. Another kind of newer mistake is not accounting for terrain features on your landing trajectory and then realizing that you've crashed into them. But that's okay. Something that, you know, I've done at least once myself. Still not slowing down. We are just heating up, heating up, heating up here, but altitude continuing to fall. Nice little light show for everyone asleep down in the continents. Actually, that's one thing. I don't know the name of the continents in Kerbin. And really, it's just one big continent, isn't it? I mean, there's some island-like ones, like this one, and this one here. But besides that, it's all a single continent. It's very interesting that they chose to do that. Usually a lot of people would be kind of, when they design a game, to make it much more close to, say, Earth than its own thing. Wow, we are really just skimming, aren't we? We'll just speed up time. Okay. There we go. The camera has officially switched to flight mode. The speed still kind of indicates we are in orbit, which in theory we are, judging from the line there, but we are definitely falling back. Are we actually going to make it all the way to the day side again? This is quite an atmospheric capture. Really just staying up here as much as possible at this point. You can see we are overheating the engine though, but I'm not overly worried about it. These things can take a beating when it comes to their heat, right? Because of simply, otherwise you wouldn't be able to land on many of the planets if you had to do a heat shield for a lot of these. And if it starts getting too high, I'll just start it back up, kind of kick it on there for a second, and hopefully just slow us down enough. Hold on. There we go. Sometimes with physics acceleration, this thing can just start tumbling through the air, and that wouldn't be good. So I'm going to go ahead and just kick on the engine. Heat is rising, and if I turn on the engine, hopefully we can just slow down a little bit quicker. I do want to save some fuel, because if we don't end up at the right speed, I could potentially use that to kind of kill enough speed so we don't crash and burn. This is a really long entry process, guys. Maybe one of my longer ones. Just shooting through here. I remember when Kerbal Space Program like didn't have re-entry at all, and it was a mod, and it made the game way more difficult.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
That's not good. I kind of was sidetracked there. Okay, so now we're going to be coming down like a bullet, with much less resistance than I possibly wanted. We are going to go ahead and probably ditch this. I would have thought I could have. There we go. And couple. Come on, pull up. Oh no, I'm down. That's it. That's it. Come on, come on. 4,000 meters. Come on, Droz, shoot. Come on, Droz, shoot.